You know, there's two things I've not done on my channel yet. Well, there's more than two, but two I'm thinking of right now. And one, I've never done a beginner brisket video showing you how I smoke a brisket from A to Z. And two, I've never smoked a brisket on a pellet smoker. But today, we're knocking both those off the list. We're gonna smoke a 14-pound brisket and show you what we do every step of the way. And because the video is sponsored by Weber, we're gonna be using the Weber Searwood XL 600 pellet smoker. Let's see how it does. But first, let's get you caught up on how we got here. So you wanna smoke a brisket. I don't blame you a single bit. I love smoking brisket. It's my favorite thing to smoke. I would say I enjoy smoking it just as much as I enjoy eating it. And there's a good reason for that. There are so many variables involved that when you get one right, then you get a real feeling of accomplishment, that's for sure. Things like what kind of smoker are you using? Are you using a pellet smoker, an offset smoker, a kettle smoker, a big green egg ceramic type, a drum smoker? I mean, there's tons of different smokers you can use. And that plays a role in how you smoke your brisket. Think about the weather. Is it sunny? Is it rainy? Is it cold? Is it windy? Is it crazy humid? All that plays a big role too. And then of course the beef grade you're using. Is it prime or choice or select or even Wagyu? That plays a role too. And then finally, think about the butchering job. Was it a Friday afternoon job or a Monday morning job? Was the person mad at their boss or mad at their spouse? Was it their first day on the job? All that plays a role as well. So what I'm gonna do today, I wanna show you how I smoke a brisket from A to Z, and I wanna start with the inspection of the brisket. Let's start by looking at the type of brisket we have. We have a 14-pound choice Angus brisket here from Sam's. I'll tell you what, I was really impressed with the amount of intermuscular fat this thing here. Look at all the striations in here, guys. It looks really, really good for a choice grade. So that's one of the reasons why I chose this. Now we'll get out of the wrapper and inspect it. So we got the brisket out of the cryovac and I've got it out here. We patted it dry, put it out here on the cutting board. Now, you'll notice here, guys, there are so many things I did not see and couldn't see when it was cryovac. There's a big gash right there. No idea that was there. We're okay with that, I think, because we're going to cut a lot of that off anyhow because it's not quite thick enough there. But nonetheless, we couldn't see that. That's a pretty good sized gash right there. Everything else we can pretty well see on the top. Turn it over, we got a big chunk of fat just flopping there. You know, they should have taken that rest of the way off. We have a little bit of a mohawk here, not much. That'll be easy to take off. We got a chunk of fat there. This fat level on the back of it, or actually this is the top. We'll smoke it with this side up, and we'll trim this down, of course, to a 1/4 of an inch. If you're a little heavier than that, that's okay, but try to go for a 1/4 of an inch fat right here. This whole knob right here on the end, we don't need that. We're gonna cut that off completely right there because that's not gonna do well in the smoker. So we'll cut that off. We'll level up the brisket as best we can. I like to have my briskets as flat as I can get them and as level as I can get them. Sometimes it's hard to do because you don't want to waste meat, but that's my goal. So I'll take this mohawk off and trim this down pretty good, and we'll show you how it looks at the end. But so we're starting right there is the back side. This is the bottom. I'll trim off this top level, this silver skin and that kind of stuff off the top. I'll look at the decal, look at the fat over here on the side, trim the edges up. So guys, before I start trimming this, I want to tell you right now, I'm going to put a link to a video right here in the upper hand corner of your screen that shows you how to trim a brisket. It's a video I did about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It does a fantastic job showing you how to trim a brisket. For the sake of time today, I'm just going to trim this one up and fast forward as I go through it so you can see me doing it, but I won't talk a lot through it because I want you to watch that video there. It does a much better job of solely how to trim a brisket. Nonetheless, we'll get started on this and I'll put it into fast forward mode. Now, a lot of times I will use a small boning knife to make my trim mark around the top edge. Now, when I do this top edge right here, I take quite a bit off, but if I don't, I explained this in that other video too, what happens on these thin edges when it cooks, of course, the brisket's gonna draw up, and when it does, it makes this thin edge curl up. What makes that really bad is it lets an area right here of pooling happen, and it washes off all of your rub. So you want to make sure you get that thin, you know, kind of round it off and get it thicker so it doesn't curl up as bad. So I'll kind of outline it here with my boning knife. I've got this big gash right here to worry about too, so I may just start right there. This whole side's pretty good, so I'm just going to bring it up to right here pretty much. Actually, I'm not going to go very far with it at all. That's very usable meat right there, guys. I mean, I definitely will take that meat off from that fat. That's a lot of really good meat there, but it's just so thin right here that I couldn't help it. I'll save that though and put it in the freezer and use it for some smash burgers or something like that. We love smash burgers in this house, that's for sure. I'm not too upset with the bottom side here. Round it off a little bit better there. Now we'll turn it over. Now we'll go back to our big slicing knife and we're gonna try to level it up back here a little bit. Here, you'll see it's pretty thick fat right there. I want to try to shave that down as best I can without going into, and you can feel, and it's really harder here than it is here. Here it gets much softer, so I know it's going to be thinner fat here, but here on the edge it's much thicker. So I want to try to stay on the edge as best I can and shave some of that down. Every once in a while, flip it up and look, and come back, flip it and look, come back. See, I can tell right here, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, it's a little pink right there, so it's getting thin. I got to make sure I don't get too deep over there. So I'm getting close here. I need to finish out here. There we go. See, down here it's a lot thinner down here, but I still got plenty back here, right? See that? So if I keep going though, it's going to get unlevel. It's such a huge amount, I want to get rid of some of that. Try to scalp a little bit, so I got to come back up, scalp there a little bit. I don't like that at all. It happens to everybody though. Don't worry about it, guys. It happens all the time. Do your best to prevent it, but it's going to happen. See, it's much thinner fat right here, so I don't want to do a whole lot on this side over here because it's so thin already. You can see there, it's not very thick there at all. I'm okay with that. Just a little scalp right there is all we did. Not the end of the world. Turn around that edge off a little bit. It's not bad at all. This is what they call our presentation side. See, I tried to round that off best I could. Try to get rid of some of those sharp corners, sharp edges. I'm 100% done with this brisket now. Every brisket's gonna be different as far as shape, how it turns out, just based on how it's butchered when you get it, and the DNA of the cow, etc. There's so many things, so many factors involved. Now we'll go ahead and get this seasoned up and get it on the smoker. Now we're gonna use a mixture of 4 parts pepper, 2 parts salt, and 1 part Lowry seasoning salt. I've not mixed it up yet, so let's shake it up here. All right, there we go. So now we're gonna put it on the non-presentation side first, do our sides and flip it over. Pretty good distance up like this. Make sure you get a good even coat. And that salt, pepper, Lowry just smells so good. You know something's going on when you smell that smell. Man, that's a good smell. It's a good even coat. Now let's turn it over and get the presentation side. This is our presentation side, so we got to make sure we do a pretty good job with the even rub on here. There we go. Now it's ready for the smoker. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and plug in the Weber Searwood and get it going. Now we're going to smoke this brisket at 180 degrees using the smoke boost mode. Now the smoke boost mode is a special mode from Weber that lets it cook at 180 degrees and actually lets the pellets smolder more than cook real hard and real fast. That way they just smolder and add more smoke to the cook, which is what you want when you're using a pellet smoker. So this is their notation for how to add smoke to a cook. That's just to add it to the smoke boost mode. Now what we'll have to do is turn it on. We're gonna hit the menu and the smoke boost mode's right there. So we're gonna hit the button and then rotate this to where that smoke is flashing, 180 degrees. And there we go. Now it'll get it up to temperature and we'll start seeing it smoke here in a little bit. I can leave the lid open on the Searwood when I'm doing this, but for now we'll just leave it down and let the smoke build up, let the heat build up, and then we'll get our brisket on here in a minute. Here is the hopper for our pellets on the Searwood. Now it's got this grate that's removable. It's a safety grate. I just take it out, leave it here because I may need it, but I take it out for ease of use. I have just recently used this pellet smoker to make chuck roasts. And that video posted very recently. So there's a little bit of space left for some more pellets. I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up the rest of the way. And that should be plenty for a good few hours, to say the least. Now, I'm using Bear Mountain oak pellets. Love these things. So something we've not done yet is put our water pan, drip pan, into the smoker. Underneath, put some water in there. And what this water pan does a couple things. One, it helps stabilize temperature, but also it helps add moisture and humidity to the smoke to make your meat more juicy. Now something else we need to do is put in our temp probe so we can monitor the internal temperature of our meat. what I like to do is I use number 1 for the flat because I go alphabetical. There's 2 probes, 2 ports over here. There's one that goes in 1. I'll put it into the flat here, right through the side here. And then number 2, I put back there in the point. Put it right here in the thick part of the point. There we go. So now they're both in. There's a slot over here on the side of the Searwood you can put your wires through so the door shuts very easily. Now we're monitoring the internal temperature of our brisket. All right, folks, we are 1 hour in. I would normally never look at a brisket 1 hour into a cook, but there's a couple things in play. 1, this is a brand new pellet smoker for us using a brisket, smoking a brisket. And 2, this is a beginner brisket video, so I want folks to be able to see what a brisket looks like in 1 hour in. Something else I want to share with you guys. Keep in mind the rounded of this dome, of this chamber, how nice it's rounded off. Plays a big role, I think, in why the Searwood does such a great job smoking meat. Let's open it up here. Wow, the brisket looks really, really good. Got some good smoke here. Got some really good color here on the reds. Starting to really get dark and rich. Like the way it looks so far 1 hour in, but still, it's nice to see. Now, the one thing I want to share with you is right below the drip pan, a dead center of the pellet smoker, is your heating pot where their pellets burn and put off heat. There's a diffuser plate on top of that. The Searwood does a really good job with diffusing that heat in both directions that comes out and then rolls up into the chamber, and the smoke goes up there too, and that rounded off of this lid helps it stay convecting, if you will, inside the chamber so it gets good smoke onto your meat. The other thing that I like about the Searwood is the second rack, because normally I have to put the brisket right on top of that heating element, which means I have to put the fat cap down. I don't want to put the fat cap down. I want it to stay on top and render into the meat as it starts to render. That's very nice. And putting this drip pan here helps protect it even that much more, but obviously you get some really good humidity creation and temperature control using the drip pan right on top of the heating element. So far I really like the Searwood. I think it's a great job, and that's one of the reasons why. I think the heating element with the diffuser as well as the roundness of the chamber. All right, guys, we're now at 2 hours, and this is when I would normally check my brisket for the first time. My intent is to see how it's looking, see what the color of it is, and then I'm going to spritz as well, and I'll share with you what I'm doing with the spritz here in a second. But the color looks fantastic. Really like the dark red we're getting here. It's not drying out too awful bad. It looks really, really good. I'm really pleased with the way this brisket's looking so far. Now, of course, the bark is not set yet. I mean, you'll see pepper coming off my fingers, of course. Nowhere near going to be set at 2 hours, but you will start looking for that eventually. What I want to do now is spritz it. Now, my spritzer is actually half apple cider vinegar and half water. I will spritz the edges where I can see meat and on the top here. I will not spritz the fat cap, and the reason why is I'm trying to get that fat cap to render. If I keep it wet, it will never render. It'll take a lot longer to render. So I want to just spritz the outside edges with apple cider vinegar and water. What I'll do now, guys, too, after I do this, I want to turn the temperature up on the smoker to 225 now. It's been 2 hours in the smoke boost mode. So now I'll turn it up to 225, let it run there for hours, which is the beauty of a pellet smoker, right? Just let it go and go back in the house. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, so for the Weber Searwood, all I got to do to raise the temperature here is just turn this dial up to 225, push the button. Now it's set for 225. Right now it's at 150 because I have the door open, of course, to spritz it. But now it's going to set at 225. Once it gets there, it'll stay there until I tell it to do different. All right, folks, we're at 4 hours now. We're going to give it a check and see what it looks like. Our bark should be getting close to being set. It's getting good color. You can see the brown color. It's looking really good. I'm getting some pooling right here, which is what I was afraid of. I'll drip that off. That'll wash off my rub if I'm not careful. It will eventually anyway, but I'm trying to prevent that as much as I can. Bark's starting to get set just a little bit, not by no means a fully set, but it's getting there. Color looks good. We're gonna spritz the edges again a little bit. But it's been in, like I said, right at 4 hours now. Another 3 or 4 will probably wrap it. Once we get to about 180 and that fat will render, and I'll bring you back then, guys. Looking good so far. All right, folks, we're about 7 hours in. Looking really good here. We got a little bit of pooling issue, like I said, right here. Tends to happen. But the brisket's looking really good, getting really good color. The bark's getting really good and set. It looks like it's about 160 degrees right now. So we'll let it probably go to about 180. Once that fat starts to render and I can pop my finger through it right here on top of the flat here, I will then wrap it. Probably another hour to 2 hours at the most. See you then. All right, folks, I'm gonna be honest with you, 100% transparent. This is nowhere near where I want it to be as far as temperature goes and as far as actual fat render goes, but it's gonna be dark soon, and I wanna show you how I wrap my brisket. Now, I don't wrap anything special, but I do wanna show you that because this is a beginner brisket video. Having said all that, many people wrap their brisket where I'm at right now, meaning that I'm in the stall and people wrap. I'm at mid 160s and that's fine, but the fat is not where I could pop it yet. It'd probably be another hour or two, maybe even, if I let it keep going, because this is just a slow cooking brisket. Welcome to the brisket world, right? But I'm gonna pull it off and go ahead and wrap it so you can see how I do that. Pull the probes out. Drain that cooling we have there, and it's just not quite as tender as I'd like it to be. There is some, I mean, it's getting soft right there and good, but it's just not where it needs to be, where I like to have it. It's perfectly fine to do it now, just not my preference. So let's take this off and put it on the board and wrap it. All right, you guys, let's get this thing wrapped. Now I've got some beef tallow I'll use, just this South Chicago Packing Company. Let's put a little bit on here to help aid with moisture as it continues to cook through the stall. A little bit of a hack here for you. I definitely use apple cider vinegar and water mixture to wet the paper to make it more pliable. The reason why I use apple cider vinegar, it helps not stick, helps keep the paper from sticking to your brisket. That's miserable when you go to open it up and all of a sudden it's sticking to your brisket, pulling all that bark you work so hard to get. So spray it with just a little bit, make it pliable, as well as keep it from sticking to your brisket. All right, now to wrap it, just fold it up once, almost like wrapping a gift. Fold it up once like this. And when you pull this up, straighten that edge out, and tuck this underneath right there. Tuck that edge right there best you can. Do the same thing on the other side. Pull this up. Straighten that edge out. Tuck that under right there. And then turn it over and pull it good and tight. Pull those in. You want it good and tight, tight as you can get it. And then turn it back over one more time. So it's back the same way it was. You get a little extra here, just fold that under. Now you did a very nicely, tightly wrapped brisket. We'll put it back on the smoker, put the pros back in, and keep on trucking. Now guys, listen, it may be tomorrow morning before I show you this thing. It's gonna get dark. I wanna let it finish in the smoker, and I'll tell you about how it turns out, how long it took, and how I knew it was ready and all that stuff when we can actually slice it open and take a bite. So I'll see you when our brisket is done. All right, y'all, the brisket finished last night. We probe tender at about 207 degrees. Now, the typical rule of thumb with brisket is 203 is when you want to start thinking about being done, but it can be as low as 195 or as high as 210. Well, this one probe tender at 207. I pulled it out, and then I grabbed a hold of it. You could feel underneath it. When your fingers kind of get enveloped into the bottom of the brisket, you know that's when it's probably done. So we pulled it off, put it into a warming cabinet that was set at 145 degrees, and it's been there for the last roughly 10 hours. Now let's unwrap it and see how we did. Here we go. Because one thing I do want to say as I unwrap this is thank you to Weber for sponsoring today's video. Weber obviously is a great company. I love their products. I've used their kettle for years. So far, this has been a great pellet grill. I love this thing. Down below, you'll see a link to Weber's products. Go to their website, check them out, and see what you think of their products if you're not familiar with them. Most everybody has heard of Weber, but they have some great products. So go check their website out below. I got a link below. Thank you to Weber for sponsoring today's video. All right, let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yep. This juice is out of here because there's a lot in there. All right, guys. Tell you what, looks like a really good looking brisket right there. Very pleased with that. Let's see how it does when we cut it open. We're gonna split it right between the point and the flat where they meet. What we're trying to do here. Oh yeah. Oh goodness, let's look and see how we did, guys. Oh yeah, it looks great. Oh my goodness, looks superb. See the juices flowing out of that thing? I'm not really squeezing too hard, guys. I'm just holding it there. But I tell you what, that's a good looking brisket. Man, I'm pleased with the looks of this thing, that's for sure. Let's cut it open, cut some slices off of it. All right, guys. There you go. The way this brisket turned out looks fantastic. Very pleased with that. Holds up under its own weight, as you can see right there. And then pulls apart. Oh, so tenderly. Oh my goodness. Very tender. I mean, it just pulls apart perfectly. All right, Searwood, you're impressing me so far. Let's try a little bite of this. Get a little fat cap there. This brisket, oh my goodness. Guys, that's crazy tender. Very juicy. Got a great flavor to it. I love this thing, it is fantastic. Now let's cut open the flat here, or the point I mean, and cut off our burn ends. There's the point. Man, I'll tell you what, that's also very juicy. Our burn ends here. Cut a couple of these. Try one of those. There's a burn end for you guys. Cheers, folks, let's try this burn end. Oh my goodness. just melts in your mouth. Well, y'all, I hope you got some value out of today's video. Once again, thank you to Weber for sponsoring the video. It was a great cook, enjoyed it greatly, appreciate that. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, be sure and click on this one next. It does a really cool way of showing you how to smoke some chicken wings in a way you've probably never done it before. Please hit the like button for this video, subscribe to our channel, and until next time, I'll meet you at the smoker.